Hey, it's Joseph here. As an architectural designer who handles multiple projects nationwide at any given moment, it has been crucial that we have a good grasp of all the different codes from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. As I have discussed in the past, I have been relying on UpCodes to be my one-stop shop for managing all building compliance. For the general overview of UpCodes, you can watch my previous video, which I will link below. On this video specifically, I want to showcase several useful workflows in detail with my projects as examples. I will also show some new features that's been introduced into my workflow as UpCodes keeps on adding more features. To be clear, UpCodes, I'm not complaining, and thank you for sponsoring this video. So, one of my retail/commercial project client is called the Escape Game. Sounds quite interesting, right? They have stores nationwide, 50 plus locations, offering 60 minutes of action-packed, challenging, and fun experiences to all their guests in many different themes. Search it up if you're interested. Anyways, designing, drawing, and permitting these stores nationwide come with quite a bit of a challenge. I mean, the name of the company, the Escape Game, already challenges the very concept of egress. So it is needless to say, having the solid understanding of life safety is quite important. And correctly noting and displaying the code references to all of my drawing is crucial. As all of these stores are in different states, cities, and jurisdictions, UpCodes has helped me immensely reducing the code research time as I switch between multiple projects. Just as an example, this is a life safety drawing of one of the projects, and you can see all the code references that I display. Unfortunately, all the section numbers and the information within always need to be checked for each project. And as you know, each project will be in different jurisdictions with different codes. However, with help of UpCodes, I can set up projects and make this process much easier. Of course, you will start from their website, up.codes. From the dashboard, you would go to the projects. If you had not set up any projects in the past before, then all you will see here is my bookmarks. If that's the case, let's create a new project. You can simply click on Create Project, click on the blank project, and fill out the basics. Project name, jurisdiction, and the code year. Next, fill out the description if you would like. Then it would be useful later to select the correct building type and size and all of the info. For those of you who have not saved any bookmarks yet, you can go to the code section that you like to save, then click on the bookmark icon. Just make sure that you have currently selected the correct project to be saved in. Bookmarking the section that you typically reference on the project is really useful because now you have created a project and saved all the bookmarks you typically use on projects, and now starting to work on a similar project type in a different jurisdiction like I always do. Then you will not need to repeat the work, you just duplicate the existing project. I can just duplicate the project by clicking this 3 dots on the existing project, put a project name and also the correct jurisdiction and the code year that you want to reference, and check on the category that you would like to import. And those saved bookmarks are definitely needing to be imported, so I'm gonna check on that. At this point, UpCodes will point out that it will try to convert the jurisdiction to a new one. Although it does a pretty good job at finding and converting the code sections, it will prompt you to let you know some sections that couldn't be automatically converted. We're going to acknowledge it. And you can either click on a specific code on this dashboard, or under the project bookmarks, you can choose the code sections. And we're gonna find the one that was said that it couldn't automatically convert. And click on this icon that says go to section. And on this specific one, I can go ahead and do a code compare. So it was originally Omaha 2021, and then I'm gonna choose Utah, and the correct year, compare. I really like looking at these comparison because it will draw the difference between the two. So here you can immediately see that section 411 had a special amusement buildings, whereas the title has changed to areas here. And you can see that under Utah, exceptions number 2 introduced provisions for puzzle rooms. Therefore, I need to make sure I correctly reference this specific code into my drawing. And you can scroll down further to see additional differences between the two jurisdictions. And once I'm done looking at all of those differences, I can go ahead and close the Omaha section. Then over here, I can click on this bookmark to make sure that this has been successfully saved. So let's go back to the projects, and check that special amusement area now has been accepted here. And under the code sections, you can see that it has a correct building code for special amusement areas. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure this gets removed. And for the plumbing code, we have two sections that needs to be looked at as well. So we're gonna go to that specific section, and rarely you may run into cases where the code compare feature isn't available. If so, you can look for the comparable code section manually and bookmark it as well. So I'm gonna go back here and then actually find the correct state. And the plumbing fixture requirements could possibly be under Utah building code as well. So I'm gonna look for it under chapter 29. And here is the section that I want to reference. Both section 2902 minimum plumbing facilities as well as this fixture table needs to be bookmarked. So I'm going to go back to verify that. You can see both of them now has been bookmarked here. So I'm going to go back up here and remove these two sections that now has been correctly saved under Utah building code. And of course, you can also go to the UpCodes Copilot and make sure that you have the correct project, and then ask, what is a minimum plumbing fixture requirement? And right off the bat, UpCodes Copilot will present the right section of the code for you to reference. And you can also see the reference codes listed here, both the plumbing code and the building codes. In this case, I want to reference the building code as we have discussed. And because we already have bookmarked this section, you can see it here. Anyways, this was all to set up the project so we can have all the code references in one place. Now I can check all of these references against what UpCode shows. So I can have both of the screens up and check this one, tenant separation, 402.4.2.1, 402.4.2.1, and actually expand to see what I reference here. And same thing for the following ones. I can go down to all of those sections. And if I want to actually go to those sections, I can click on Go to Section button as well. And I always check both the section number as well as the info and the number included inside of the info. Typically, I just see the section number being different, but the 411 section was supposed to be special amusement areas, not special amusement buildings. So that needs to be fixed. And also 411.1 general should include provision for puzzle room here. So yeah, I was able to spot my own mistake there. Moving on to a different subject, perhaps you have typical code references set up like the way I do. But if you're not working on a similar project from the same client all over again, you may have slightly different life safety requirements and it may be time consuming to do all the research all over again. In that case, you can utilize UpCodes Copilot to create a checklist. Simply go down to the Copilot section and I'm gonna connect a specific project that I already have set up. And here I'm gonna type in, create a life safety checklist for this project that is group A3 and a special amusement building tenant infill that is 3,000 square feet. Then Copilot will create something for you to use. And up here, you can simply click on this button to save it to your project. Since it references all the code sections, going through this list will be quite intuitive and easy. And also for the Copilot, if you have a specific question that you need to investigate further and do the research because you've got a complex project, you can ask it as if you're asking to your code expert colleague. I'm going to say something like this just to make sure that I give enough context for this expert to be able to give you the meaningful answer. I have a total of 100 occupants in group A3 occupancy. How many plumbing fixtures do I need to provide each sex? And because we have already referenced and connected a project, it will understand it is for Utah and correct project type. And here is the response, and be sure to check on all of these references. And of course, the chapter 29 of building code will look at the fixture calculations. So I'm going to click on that to go to that specific section. And up here was the table that I was supposed to look at as well. So I can certainly cross-reference and check that as well. As it is quite often that I have to do a quick occupancy and plumbing fixture analysis during the programming phase, figuring out the ballpark numbers of all of these fixtures required is quite useful. If you're also practicing in multiple jurisdictions, you know how different the plumbing fixture requirements can be, let alone the exact code and the section that I should be looking at. So yeah, it is quite useful for Copilot to look for all of that for me. What is a maximum travel distance for the project group A3 sprinkler building? And as you find this response quite useful, you can click on bookmark thread to make sure this has been saved onto your project that you're working on. So later on, if you want to go back to the Copilot conversation that you've had, you can click on that and see that same response. Again, another one. What is a minimum stair width for group A3 project? In addition to all the text and all the references that Copilot gives you, I also check the diagrams as they are much easier to understand. Yep, so this confirms that the width required is not between the handrails, rather it is between the stairway or the stringer. And as a last workflow that I want to share is using Copilot for responding to city comments and uploading documents. Here's a PDF that shows a city comment A2. And inside of the Copilot, you can upload a document. And I'm going to say, can you help me answer comment A2? And you can see that it has provided you with a response that explains the comment as well as what to do on your plan and the response to the city. And of course, I'm going to click on these references to make sure it is referencing the correct one, but also check on this diagrams to see all of these visually clear. So whether you're just looking to set up a streamlined process to check code references from project to project, doing code research for a unique scenario, answering tricky city comments, using UpCodes come in really handy for code-related work for architecture and engineering. And I also hope that this video was handy for you. If it was, please don't forget to like this video and consider subscribing to my channel to continue watching these type of videos. And thank you so much for watching as always. I'll see you next time. Bye.